Hello, everyone. For years, I read and studied this week's Torah portion, the Chukotai, with a combination of trepidation and bewilderment. The portion introduces a series of curses known as the Tochecha, words of reproach. The alarmingly blunt and draconian narrative warns Bnei Yisrael about the consequences of dismissing the Torah from their individual and collective lives. The fire and brimstone character of the portion is anathema to my understanding and practice of Judaism. However, my thinking on the portion has evolved. I now believe the Tochecha is not only justifiable, but essential as a vital step in Israel's quest for a happy life. Here is my revised take. Years ago, author, columnist, and TV talk show host Dennis Prager wrote a book about happiness. He argued that happiness was not merely a fleeting sentiment, but a behavior essential to our character and to our well-being. Echoing a teaching in Pirkei Avot, the wisdom of our sages, Prager contends that a poor person, satisfied with his or her portion, will be happier than a wealthy person for whom happiness is elusive. He comments that instead of seeing ourselves as victims, we should claim responsibility for our lives, and by doing so, we will take one step toward living a happier life. He contends that happiness is essential, but in light of our severe daily challenges, is not easy to achieve. Leaving Prager aside momentarily, a 2024 World Happiness Report released in March ranked Israel fifth among 143 countries based on life evaluation, positive emotions, and other factors contributing to happiness. Considering Hamas, October 7th, and the ongoing unspeakable traumas experienced by the nation, how can Israel rank so high on the happiness gauge? Author Dan Sinor, in his recent book, The Genius of Israel, offered a response. There is an ideal of solidarity that, even if sometimes honored in the breach, is a powerful aspiration across the political spectrum. People with starkly opposing views live not just in the same neighborhood, but also in the same apartment buildings, and often sit around the same Shabbat dinner table. And many of them are serving in the hull of the same tank right now in this war. In other polarized countries, the yearning for unity that cuts across deep political divides is not as strong. In Israel, the solidarity is just beneath the surface, like a frame holding together a mosaic. To an unusual extent, what binds Israelis are the very obstacles we might think would pull them apart. The realities of war and the need to overcome social and political divides for the sake of national survival. When it comes to fundamental needs, Israelis know the score. Together they face trauma and danger by pulling together not only in battle, but in peace, such as around the Sabbath table. The warning signs they confront each day only make them stronger and, ironically, more unified. Facing their fears together, Israelis go about their daily lives, kiss their children off to school, celebrate holidays, and go out for dinner. They pray in synagogues and spend hours at the beach. Of course, there is constant fear and anxiety, and post-October 7 leaves an indelible scar. Yet instead of resignation, Israelis find ways to live day to day, and they do so with passion and resolve to survive and to celebrate. And therein lies the connection to our tochecha, to those verses of reproof in the portion of Bechukotai. The curses and the warnings are explicitly articulated without pretense or sugarcoating. Ancient Israel, as it were, knew the score. Rather than living in fear of dire consequences, they could live their lives securely. In a sense, introducing the explicit tochecha was a relief. There were no hidden agendas to breed a permanent anxiety or fear, which might strike at any moment from any direction. The people could move forward and enjoy their lives. Such, I believe, also motivates Israel today. Even amidst their anger and uncertainty, Israelis cling to one another, cultivate relationships with the understanding that they are all in this together. They celebrate holidays, albeit this year in somewhat muted fashion. They gather at the Sabbath table and greet one another in synagogues and in the restaurants and cafes. The curse and realities of terrorism, self-defense needs, of sending children off to defend a nation, and of confronting the world's ongoing contempt, commit Israelis to living full lives. They discover happiness because happiness is a behavior and not merely a feeling, and their behavior suggests living energetically and positively in the company of family, neighbors, and friends. Like Israel in the desert of Sinai, Israelis today not only acknowledge the warnings and the curses, but take whatever measures necessary to overcome them. The tochecha introduced in the Torah, therefore, does not impede nor intimidate, but rather motivates Israel then and now to forge ahead in living life to the fullest extent. The trauma in which Israelis find themselves is anything but a happy situation. But Israelis, for the reasons I suggest, find great happiness despite all. Happiness redefined. Shabbat Shalom. Am Yisrael Chai.